his life as a horse trader. But as News 4's Tanya Bendixson reports, his friends will remember him as much more.
Looked up at Cowboy Grandpa and he said, "Could you teach me to be a cowboy?"
Just kind of lift up there, kind of bring it right forward.
His grandchildren called him Cowboy Grandpa. His friends just called him the Cowboy. George Locher's would have wanted it this way. All his friends,
I rode a lot of miles with George Locher.
his horses, and his family. All of them together in Lucky Meadows, his own dust-filled rodeo arena.
I think he probably looks down and he tells, "Don't mourn my death, but think of the things that I've done. Think of the things I've taught you. Think of the stories. And most of all, live life to its fullest."
His friends say the horse trader was fair, and he was always lending a hand to a guy down on his luck. And George may have loved his horses as much as life itself. George Locher's will be missed.
I'm heading for the land.
From Deer Park, Tanya Bendixson, News 4.
Family members say George told plenty of tall tales, made people laugh, and helped make small miracles come true.
Services for the late George Locher. As Bob Bostwick tells us, George Locher was no ordinary man, and this was no ordinary send-off.
George Locher was careful about his friendships, and it seems he carefully chose as his friends just about everyone he ever met. This man of the West passed on this week. Popular demand said the former rodeo cowboy, horseman, husband, and father of 4 was deserving of something more than a funeral. So, by popular demand, this is George Locher's last roundup.
I'm heading for the land.
Yeah, it's only natural. Yeah.
And I don't think you're surprised that as many people are showing up and taking part this way.
No, that's another reason for the decision is because we figured there'd be more than enough people to, make it worthwhile.
Rodeo and anything in the arena has been his life. That's what he's lived for. And somebody said, well, we ought to have the funeral in the arena, and everybody says, yeah. And so that's the way it is.
George Locher leaves behind Ethelyn, his wife of 51 years. He leaves behind 4 children, 8 grandchildren, and 5 great-grandchildren. To the youngsters, he was Cowboy Grandpa. This Western-style send-off drew hundreds of people from the Deer Park area. The tears fell from 5 generations of cowboys, cowgirls, and Western-style thinkers. Mac McLean was among the oldest friends. He delivered the eulogy.
George was home, folks. George was the same wherever you seen him, and if he knew you, he always knew you. And if he was your friend, he was always your friend.
George Locher enjoyed a long and happy life. Cowboy Grandpa did his teaching by example. Those bright enough to pay attention followed it. Mac McLean told this crowd that George Locher loved horses and owned his share of good ones. Folks here already knew that George Locher loved his friendships and had his share of good ones. Near Deer Park, Bob Bostwick, Q6 News.